Hello everyone, welcome back to Chasing Narrative with AJ, and today I'm going to talk about how recruiting was the most difficult job I ever had to do in my life. Going out to talk to people, dealing with people that are unqualified, but they telling you that they are qualified, dealing with people that are lying to you, saying they never did drugs in their life, and then you look up and they have done drugs in their life, or they sold drugs in their life. You deal with so many people, but you deal with good people as well. It is a rewarding job because you're able to change people's lives, but trying to find someone to join the army is tough because you can have somebody that looks perfectly fine, and then you look at a record, they might have possession of cannabis over 20 grams, they might have possession of cocaine, they might have robbed somebody, they might have done fraud, or they might have an underlying medical issue that prohibits them from joining. I've seen people that couldn't really hear. They failed a hearing test and they couldn't join because they failed a hearing test so bad. I've seen people who had like real bad asthma. They did a pulmonary function test and they couldn't join. So I'm gonna go into what this guy had to say about how hard military duty is. I'm telling you, it is very hard. It's really hard.
In the military, more specifically in the Marine Corps, that's my experience. 100% the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire military career. Now, for the newcomers who had just recently joined my page, I am not a recruiter anymore. I was a recruiter. Out of my 12-year career, I recruited for three years. And I did that well enough to where I ran a recruiting substation. So I just want to make sure that this is 100% clear. Interpretation of what it took to be a recruiter before I became one was honestly, how hard could it be? It seems so skate. I remember when I was an applicant, recruiter's got a smile on his face. He doesn't have bosses around him. All he's got to do is show up, do a little bit of paperwork, take somebody to MEPS, and boom, you do that a couple times a month, a couple times a year, you're good to go. I'm telling you, recruiting duty is the hardest thing that I've ever done in my Marine Corps career. I've deployed, I've gone on months and months and months of training exercises, so on and so forth, inspections. Recruiting duty is the hardest thing.
Now, I've never been in the Marines. I did 20 years in the Army, but my Army recruiting station, I worked at 2 Army recruiting stations. They were always next to a Marine recruiting station. And when I tell you those guys work, I gained so much respect for Marines in general. Like they work to standard. I mean, these people actually above standard. I remember talking to a recruiter at my high school. Him and we had the same high school. And he was telling me they didn't get off work till like 9 o'clock at night. I mean, they were started like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. And sometimes they didn't get off till like 8, 9 o'clock at night. Actually, a lot of times. And he was telling me like they had to make phone calls at a certain time after hours, whereas like majority of the time in my recruiting stations, I normally would stay average like 6 o'clock and I'm home. So I have gained so much respect for Marines, the Marine recruiters. I see why that they have a lot of quality that joins the Marines. I see why they always like meet service requirements because they do not play. And like he said, I guarantee you recruiting duty is harder for a lot of Marines compared to like when they deploy and whatnot. And like he said, recruiting duty is tough. It really is. And mentally, it can mess up your mind because if you have marital issues, now you're dealing with that. If you're not meeting your quota, now you're dealing with your supervisor pressuring you and asking you like, hey man, you ain't put nobody in 2 months. Like what's going on? So you're dealing with a lot of pressure. And even when you put somebody in, you always got to focus on the following month. So let's get back to the video.
I've ever done. Everybody has an opinion of how good or how bad you do your job. Everybody. Not just the applicant, but the applicant's brother, the applicant's mom, dad, your bosses, your peers, other military members. Everybody has opinions about how you perform your job. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing, but what I can say is that you haven't walked a mile in my shoes. You may not know what it takes to walk a mile in these shoes. So if you have questions, of course, throw them over here into the comments section, right? But with that being said, if you think that your recruiter isn't responding to you because he's just got his feet kicked up on his desk, twiddling his thumbs or whatever, I'm telling you that recruiter has so many things on his plate to accomplish in a day.
I would say I disagree with him, but I don't know how the Marines work. as far as like, I know they're busy a lot of times, but I don't know like how each Marine recruiting station is. So I'm gonna not talk about the Marines. With the Army, no. If your recruiter is not responding to your text messages, if your recruiter is not responding to your phone calls, let's say you reach out to that person at 2 p.m. and they don't reach out to you till the following day, or they reach out to you 6 hours later, that's bull. We are busy, but we look at our phones. Everybody has a chance to look at their phones. It doesn't take long to send a text. It doesn't take long to respond to a phone call. So, for the Army side of things, I disagree with him. But I know he's more than likely talking about the Marines. But again, if you have a recruiter and you've been contacting that person, and that person doesn't really contact you, or they take forever to contact you, you might want to look at a different recruiter, to be honest with you, because they have time. Yes, we're busy in the recruiting station. Yes, we're busy talking to people outside of the recruiting station. But everybody has a phone. Everybody get alerts. They have time.
Talking about interviews, finding appointments for the next day, taking people to MEPS, going to do speeches at school, doing counseling with parents that their kid is about to enlist into the military, departure briefs, welcome aboard briefs, giving sit reps to their command about how the results are looking. So many things to do. Answering your phone calls and answering your text messages is definitely one of those things. But just understand, right? The recruiter in most scenarios is going to get back to you. But if they don't, hit the comment section over here and let me know what your questions are.
I like this video. I like what he had to say. But I can tell you, I've done all those things. I put in 70 people when I was a recruiter. I was very busy, which was good because I changed a lot of people's lives. And my time as a recruiter went pretty quick. But there's no excuse for a recruiter to not answer your phone calls or text messages, and it's not an excuse for a recruiter to not respond back to your text messages or phone calls. I get it, everyone's busy, but see your phone, you can respond back. But being a recruiter is no joke. Being a recruiter was the hardest thing I ever had to do in my life, because I'm still an introvert, but I was more of an introvert before becoming a recruiter. And going out there to talk to people is something that I had to get used to. With the appointments, I didn't really have any issues with people coming to the recruiting station to talk to me, because it's like having a soldier per se. Like soldiers, they come and they have issues. The biggest thing I would say about recruiting that I didn't like was the leadership. The leadership sucks. Even the ones that are performing the highest, you're one of the best performers, they put pressure on you to try to continue to put people in. Like you could put in, I remember one time I put in like 5 people in one baseline meeting in a month, and they still was like, hey, what happened to these other 2? And it's like, yo, like you got like 3 recruiters in this recruiting station that haven't put in nobody in like 2 months. But you get on me and I got like 5 people. So like that sucks. And then another thing that sucks is some of the recruiters you work with, it's a dirty game. It really is. It's a dirty game. You'll have people that try to steal your applicants. You'll have people that will go to your high school. You'll have people that will go in your jurisdiction. You'll have people that will talk to your applicants while they the duty driver for the day and try to convince your applicant that you're not the best recruiter for them. It's a dirty game. So mentally, you gotta be strong if you want to do this. So I really wanted to share this video for anybody that's thinking about becoming a recruiter, or recruiters that are out there and they're watching this video. Hey, I feel your pain. I really do. It's a dirty, dirty, dirty game. It really is. So I appreciate you guys like always. Salute. Peace.